Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video guide for Ark Survival Evolved. Today in this video, folks, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about taming a woolly rhino in Ark. Now, the very first thing that you need to know about this is that woolly rhinos tend to spawn in the snow biome, so you will need some fur armor. In terms of kibble, you want to use the superior kibble, and it does require a saddle to ride it. So let's have a look what you will need for the saddle. You'll need to be level 53, and these are the resources that you will need for the saddle. Not all that expensive. It is totally doable. Now, you can farm woolly rhinos for the fur, and you can use that to craft, of course, the fur armor. So that is my target right there. It is a fairly high level woolly rhino. Now, because there are other woolly rhinos around it, once you tend to aggro it, there is a possibility that it will aggro other woolly rhinos. Now, for this reason, we will build the trap slightly bigger than we normally do. I tend to go by a 2x2 foundation trap, but this time around, for safety reasons, I will go with a trap of 3x3. It is a creature that has a charge, so it may potentially charge at me. So therefore, being a trap that is slightly larger, it does offer me that leeway in case it does charge it. I don't want it to basically overshoot the trap. Now, once you set down the foundations, we're going to start doing the walls. Obviously, I'm going to be doing this on foot, so I need an exit. That means I'm going to set up a door frame, and I'm going to do it this way right here. This is where I'll place the ramps as well, because I will be kiting the rhino from this direction, so the chances of the rhino snagging onto the door frame's hitbox are small. There is a bit of a glitch in the game where certain creatures can snag onto the hitbox of door frames, and as such end up kind of making their way out of the trap. So let's go with 2 walls tall all around. I'm going to do stone, and you probably could do this with wood as well. However, do bear in mind that the rhino does have the ability to damage wood. And so that is the pitfall trap itself. That should fit 2, maybe 3 rhinos in there if I do end up aggroing more than one. They seem to be fairly far apart, but things may change, so I'm catering for that scenario. Okay, the rhino's a bit close to the trap, but hey-ho. On this end, we're going to go with ramps all the way down into the ground. If there is a slight gap between the final ramp and the ground, don't worry about it. It should be okay, as long as the gap is not too big. Okay, there we go. And that is pretty much the trap. I'm going to have a look around. Now, another thing you need to keep an eye out for is stuff such as Uterannuses and wolves and saber-toothed kittens, because they are enemies with the rhinos, and they do also spawn in the snow biome. Now, I have previously cleared out the area, so I'm going to go and start kiting the rhino into the trap. Okay, so what you want to do here is you don't want to get too far ahead of the rhino, and you don't want to get into the trap or jump into the trap before the rhino is too close to you, because it will then switch aggro on to the trap. So at this point in time, I'm just going to run out this way, and there we are, 1 rhino trapped in here. Now, notice that it does damage the ramps, and that is because they are made out of wood, and despite it being inside the trap, it can destroy the ramps. Now, what I suggest at this point in time is you either pick up the ramps if you can, or destroy them to recycle the resources you spent on crafting the ramps. From this point forward, it's a simple case of just knocking it out. Do keep an eye out on your environment. You don't want dire wolves and Uterannuses sneaking up on you. It is a fairly straightforward knockout tame. From this point forward, you can use the long neck rifle as well as the crossbow with the trank arrows. Both are just as good. The rhino does have a decent amount of health, so there's not really much risk of killing it with the crossbow. Also, it is a herbivore, so you can use berries and veggies on it. However, if you want maximum taming efficiency, I do strongly suggest that you use the kibble. That is the best thing to use for it. Okay, so just wanted to see if it does damage to the structures, but it doesn't. So just start laying all the darts in it that you can. You might want to bring with you some narcotics in case you use berries. So with the kibble, it does tend to tame fairly quick. With berries and veggies, it does take longer, so it may require narcotics. I'm gonna showcase the entire knocking out process because it isn't that complicated. It doesn't take that many darts. However, as you can see, I am facing that wonderful glitch where the long neck rifle does not want to reload or shoot. So that is something that does seem to happen quite often on my server. We'll know that the Rhino's torpidity has reached a high level when it stops attacking the trap and becomes more focused on wanting to run away. It shouldn't take that many tranq darts to get to that point. It is a creature that does have a decent amount of torpor, but nothing too spectacular, and its torpidity doesn't drop all that quick as well. As you can see right now, it's switched pretty much from wanting to destroy the trap to wanting to run away, so I'm not going to have to kind of chase it around the trap and hope it has its head stuck out so I can continue putting darts in it. Alternately, I can go inside the trap and just knock it out from there, but it shouldn't need too many more darts at this point in time. Okay, and here we go. It should go down any minute now. Notice that it does tend to have a bit of a glitch around the corners, but it cannot get out, and that's why you want to build the trap with 2 walls tall. I'll quickly go and grab my wyvern, bring it close to the trap, and from this point forward, you can put the kibble in its inventory and wait for it to tame out. Alternately, you can use the starving method, whereby you starve out the creature sufficiently before you put any food in its inventory. You may also need to have narcotics with you, and for this I do recommend using Dodo Dex, which is a really good app for taming in this game, especially if you are going to use the starving method. It'll tell you how long you need to starve a creature for before you can put the kibble in it to fully tame it. I might have to take down the back end of the trap because the Rhino did fall right on the door frame, so I cannot access its inventory, but that's fine. It's no biggie, the area is still clear. So once you have starved out the creature sufficiently, you can then just place the kibble in its inventory and it should pretty much instantly tame. So I'll kind of show you how this works. Now do bear in mind that I do have taming speeds increased on the server, so it will eat less kibble and tame a lot quicker. That's just one of the things I have set up on the server, but it will work very similar on official servers or servers with similar settings. At this point, you can put the saddle on it and you can ride it. So I'm going to remove the trap and I'm going to show you what this creature can do and why it's quite unique. It does have, as I said earlier in the video, a charge ability, and the way the charge works is you sprint and hold down the sprint button or key depending on what you are playing, and the longer you sprint, the faster the Rhino gets. So it starts out very slow and then it gets faster and faster and faster. This is a cool ability because it makes it particularly fast, and if you do hit another creature, it won't do damage to it unless you do the headbutt. So let's showcase its charge. As you can see, it's getting faster and faster and faster. It is fairly maneuverable as well, bearing in mind that this is a fairly big creature, so it can turn pretty good. So we'll set up another charge. I want to show you how fast this creature can actually get. So the longer you hold the sprint down, the faster it gets. Of course, it does have a cap where it does not get any faster than a specific speed, but still nonetheless you can outrun quite a few creatures with this. Now let's show you the headbutt. Actually, I'm not going to do the headbutt. I decided not to do it. I just want to show you what happens if you just hit a creature without the headbutt. So no damage. It does do a bit of a push, but nothing too spectacular. Once you run out of stamina, you can pretty much dismount it and you will still be on its back, which is another cool feature. With a lot of creatures in the game, when you do dismount them, you tend to get off their back completely. Now let's do the headbutt on this rhino to show you what happens. There you go, 1026 damage on this woolly rhino, on this woolly mammoth, my apologies. Now the other normal damage is 120. The 1026 damage is because of the charge. So we'll do this woolly mammoth right here, and we'll do some normal hits on it to show you the difference. So it can do a massive amount of damage on a charge, and you don't have to actually sit there and headbutt. You can just run away, build up some speed and momentum, then turn around and then charge at the creature again. So very important for this creature will of course be the stamina. And that is pretty much it for this video, folks. I do hope that you have enjoyed it and found it useful and informative. If you have, please don't forget to support me on the channel by hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already for more similar content from myself. And if you have just subscribed, why not check out some of my other videos and guides here on this channel? Who knows, you might just enjoy them. And don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get notified when I upload new videos and content to the channel. Also, for those interested, you can always find me on the Sethtopia Discord. Links to this, of course, you can find down below in the video description, as well as in a pinned comment from myself. Until next time, stay safe, folks.